A heated clip circulating online claims that New York politician Zohran Mamdani wants to seize property from whites. The wording is explosive, and it has triggered outrage across social media. But before accepting such a serious accusation, it's important to slow down and examine what is actually being claimed, who is making the claim, and what Mamdani himself has said on the record. This report separates rhetoric from reality, explains the policy debate behind the controversy, and clarifies why race-based interpretations are drawing criticism from multiple sides. Zohran Mamdani is a New York State Assembly member known for progressive positions on housing, rent control, and public ownership. His policy focus is centered on affordability, tenant protections, and limiting speculative real estate practices. Nowhere in official proposals has he called for property seizure based on race. The viral claim instead stems from interpretations and in some cases exaggerations of broader discussions around public housing, land use reform, and limits on large corporate landlords. The accusation gained traction after commentary segments, including those on political debate shows like Rising, framed Mamdani's housing views in extreme terms. Critics argue that policies expanding government control over housing or limiting private landlords amount to seizure. Supporters counter that this language is misleading and inflammatory, especially when racial framing is added without evidence. It's critical to clarify one point. U.S. law does not allow racialized confiscation of property, and no elected official has proposed such a policy. Any attempt to do so would be unconstitutional and immediately blocked by courts. Claims suggesting otherwise rely on fear-based framing rather than legal or policy reality. Mamdani's actual housing positions include support for rent stabilization, social housing, and public investment in affordable units. These ideas are controversial, but they are not unique, nor are they race-specific. Similar policies exist in various forms across Europe and parts of the U.S., where debates focus on economics, not race. So, where does the seize property narrative come from? In many cases, critics equate regulation with confiscation. Policies that limit rent increases, restrict speculative buying, or allow public purchase of distressed properties are often rhetorically described as seizure, even when owners are compensated under existing law. Adding racial language dramatically escalates the controversy. No proposal by Mamdani singles out white property owners or any racial group. Framing economic policy debates in racial terms can distort public understanding and inflame divisions that are not reflected in the actual policy text. Robby Soave and others on Rising have criticized progressive housing ideas as unrealistic or harmful to markets. That critique is part of legitimate political debate. However, criticism becomes misleading when it implies intentions or outcomes that are not supported by evidence or legal mechanisms. This type of escalation is common in modern political media. Strong language drives clicks, but it can blur the line between critique and accusation. Viewers are often left reacting to headlines rather than substance. It's also worth noting that housing policy debates are intensifying nationwide due to rising rents, housing shortages, and investor activity. Politicians proposing aggressive solutions often face backlash, especially when proposals challenge entrenched economic interests. Supporters of Mamdani argue that his policies target systems, not people. They frame his agenda as a response to affordability crises, rather than an attack on homeowners. Critics disagree on effectiveness, but not on legality. For audiences, the key question should be, what does the policy actually do? Does it involve compensation? Is it voluntary? Does it apply equally under the law? These questions matter more than provocative phrasing. When claims involve race, extra scrutiny is essential. Serious accusations require serious evidence. In this case, no documentation supports the idea of race-based property seizure. This controversy highlighted a broader issue in political discourse: how easily complex policy discussions are reduced to alarming sound bites. That reduction benefits outrage cycles, not public understanding. Disagreeing with Mamdani's housing views is valid. Critiquing their economic impact is fair. But attributing racially targeted intent without proof crosses into misinformation. For voters, separating policy disagreement from fear-based narratives is essential, especially in local elections where housing decisions have real consequences. As with many viral political claims, Context changes everything. Once examined closely, the accusation collapses into a debate about regulation versus ownership, not race. In summary, Zohran Mamdani has not proposed seizing property from whites or any racial group. The controversy reflects how political commentary can amplify fear through language rather than facts. Understanding the difference protects viewers from manipulation and keeps debate grounded in reality.